quick video, man. I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. Homelander did not get nerfed. He did not get nerfed. I'm not saying they couldn't do a little bit better with his character, writing wise. I'm just saying he didn't get nerfed like some of the people are making claims. First of all, one of the reasons why people thought he got nerfed is because of Compound V1, the original Compound V. Some of you guys assumed that it'll make him more powerful, when there wasn't really nothing stating that Compound V1 would make somebody more powerful. It just makes them more immortal, basically give them longevity. And people are going to say it was more potent. That doesn't mean anything. It being more potent doesn't necessarily mean it'll make you more powerful. It just means it was more lethal to take. It was more unstable to take. Because a lot of people was tested for this V1 and they died back when it was created. And even now, when Sister Sage was trying to create a replica of V1, a lot of people was bleeding out of their asshole. A lot of people were dying from that. It was more lethal to take. And people assume because Soulja Boy is so powerful, and guys like Bombsight were powerful, Stormfront was decently powerful. They assumed that anybody else who took Compound V1 would have been just as much powerful, but a lot of times that depends on the person than just the compound. And then cats are not taking account that Homelander is not invincible. He is not this unstoppable guy that can't be pressed at all. Like, he's been pressed multiple times in the series. Homelander has been challenged. He's been challenged by Soulja Boy, Bill Butcher, Queen Maeve, Ryan. Even Huey was able to push him. Like, Temp V. Huey he was physically strong enough to at least push Homelander. So he's not unstoppable. And it's proven that if you can jump him, you can press Homelander. He fought Bill Butcher, Soulja Boy. He fought 2v1 and he had trouble. He had a 3v1 and had trouble. Queen May made him bleed. Hell, Ryan made him bleed. Because he was manhandling Homelander at the beginning of their fight. He pinned him to the wall, made his nose bleed, and then Homelander didn't want to tank his laser visions. He didn't want to tank it, so he had moved his head. But Homelander ended up winning because he's just a more experienced fighter. He's more experienced as a suit. And then you got to take into account the writing, because the narrative, when Ryan's character when he was developing his power, the narrative is he was potentially more powerful than Homelander. That he had more potential than Homelander. I mean, he even one-shot at Stormfront as a kid, as a little boy. And I'm not saying Homelander couldn't have done it, but he didn't. She was tanking his lasers. I'm pretty sure Homelander can control the power of his lasers. He may not went all out on his lasers, but Ryan can do something crazy like that as a kid. Now he's older by 2 or 3 years. Now he's a young teenager. He's like 13, 14. I think he's like 14 in the series finale. He should have, like, narratively speaking, Ryan should have been able to put up a better fight. He should have been able to at least mid diff. Like, if Homelander was still going to win, it should have been at least mid diff instead of like low diff. It should have been like mid diff because Ryan's a little bit older. He has a little bit more control of his power. But they completely switched. They switched the narrative with Ryan. So Ryan got actually nerfed. Writing and narrative speaking, he got nerfed. Ryan got nerfed. It wasn't Homelander who got nerfed. Ryan really was the one who got nerfed. It went from Ryan may be able to kill Homelander because he got more potential to you can't really hang with Homelander because they built Ryan up in season 2, 3, and 4. They built him up to potentially be able to actually kill Homelander. Because that's the reason why Grace wanted Ryan to stay, because she got desperate. She got desperate for a reason because she knew Ryan had more potential. He had the potential to kill Homelander. He just needed some training. So she tried to lock him up. And they ended up backfiring on her. And honestly, she kind of met her own demise by getting too desperate. She got too desperate. And all that build up just for the next season, you ain't really that dude for real, Ryan. You can't hang with Homelander. What? And then Ryan was like, "What? How you gonna say I can't hang with Homelander? I thought you guys said I couldn't beat him." Like, they did a bait and switch for Ryan's character. They bait and switched the writing with his character. All that build up for him in a bait and switch. I mean, he even damaged Soldier Boy as a kid. That little cut he got on his cheek, that's from Ryan. So, with this example, it's proven that Homelander can get pressed. So when it was a 2v1 against Homelander, it made sense a little bit that he was able to get pressed. But even with that, it's like he could have easily used his lasers, because at the beginning of season 5, they had like they were still significantly weaker than Homelander. But Bill wasn't scared. He still confronted him, and he easily cut Kimiko in half. Now all of a sudden he can't cut her in half with his lasers anymore. I guess when she had got that nuclear power, it gave her a little bit of an amp. Maybe. And some people say, well, that's kind of inconsistent because they just got their ass whooped by a bomb sight. And you can easily just push that to they underestimated him. They never thought he'd be this tough. Because believe it or not, Bill Butcher, he swapped hands with Homelander. Nearly on par with Homelander. He swapped hands with him. I just think they should have executed that better. I don't have a problem with them being able to tangle with Homelander. It's just the execution. It shouldn't have been just Bill and Kimiko going inside that White House and inside that room to confront Homelander. It should have been a couple more extra characters with them, like Marie and Jordan Lee, possibly even Sam too. And then Ryan comes out of nowhere, and then they all fighting him. That way, it makes more sense. Like, the more people fighting against Homelander, the more tension, because you're saying he's so powerful that it takes nearly an army of suits to take him down. You gotta jump him with a lot of people just to have a chance against him. I'm pretty sure a lot of people wouldn't have mind if they rooted like that, because that's adding like a little bit more tension. It's raising the stakes, because you're saying, man, it's going to take a whole bunch of people. It's going to take all these people, all these suits, just to take this one man down. Man, this guy is so powerful. But Homelander did not get nerfed. He really didn't. He's not invincible. He can get pressed. He's been damaged a few times in the show. When it comes to jumping, you got to pull a Payne Akowski on this guy to take him down. They hopped on him, just like they did Jiraiya. You remember what Akowski, Payne, all the Paynes did to Jiraiya? They hopped on him. They jumped on him. They didn't do the 1v1. They didn't give him the ones. No, they jumped him. And if people are upset, they just upset because they thought Homelander was supposed to win. That's the second reason. Because some fans, they wanted him to win because we got edgelords out here. And that's what's unfortunate. Unfortunately, we got edgelords out here. We got a bunch of edgelords who thought that Homelander was supposed to win, that the villain was supposed to win. No, you're an edgelord, dude. Because y'all know that Homelander was going to lose at the end. I don't know why people thought that Homelander was supposed to win. Like he was going to win at the end. Y'all should have already knew that Homelander was going to lose. That the show was eventually going to lead to Homelander losing. It was obvious. And then people were mad because the budget wasn't good enough. Because they didn't show him go scorch earth. They didn't show... People thought that the fight was supposed to be like Zack Snyder. It was supposed to be like a Snyderverse. It was supposed to be on the same level as like the Man of Steel. It's a TV show. People, it's not a movie. You're not going to get movie level quality on a TV show. And people said, well, it's Amazon. Guys, that don't mean anything. Just because it's Amazon, don't mean Amazon is going to invest like a quintillion ton of money on it. It's a business at the end of the day. They got a bunch of projects. But that's all I wanted to say, man. Homelander did not get nerfed, bro. It's just cats don't want to accept what happened in the show. That's all it is. And then people want to complain about the power scaling. Look, the power scaling has never been consistent in the show. Like, I don't know why people want to complain about the power scaling. The power scaling. First of all, you know what? Never mind. I was about to say that you're not complaining about the power scaling. You're complaining about the writing. You know what? I'll go ahead and say it. It's not the power scaling. The power scaling is not the problem. You're conflating the writing to the power scaling. There's no such thing as absolute power. Power scaling has nothing to do with writing. Power scaling is just feats. It's just feats that a certain character has done or doing or able to do. That's what power scaling is. You're conflating power scaling with writing. Those are two different things. The writing for the strength or certain feats, it's never really been consistent, and a lot of these dudes don't really care about power scaling like that. And I can see why, because there is a flaw in power scaling. If you're focused on power scaling too much, like you're trying to focus on every grain of second to be consistent, you're not going to be able to write a compelling story. You're not going to be able to write a good story, or you might write yourself in a corner because you're trying to like make sure to be consistent, make sure that every grain of second is consistent. You're not going to be able to write a story like that. But this time, I'm out. Peace. And don't forget to comment and subscribe.